which the telephone callers, and there is the one Joanne Wangi from Kenya. Good evening, Joanne. You're most welcome to Straight Talk Africa.
Thank you very much, Shaka. Good evening.
I am hugely both terrific but also sad, of course, because of the passing away of the giant of a human being by the name, of course, Wangari Maathai.
It is indeed sad to lose Wangari Maathai, but it's also tremendous to have had Wangari Maathai. So, in a way, it's a celebration, and we're very grateful that we've had such a wonderful person coming from this part of the world.
So, what can you tell us about Wangari Maathai, especially given that you were also born not very far from where she comes from in Nyeri? You come from Mulanga, which is, both in Central Province. What can you tell us about her? What would you say is the single most important thing that you will always remember and associate with her?
I think for me, it is the can-do attitude that Wangari has always had, of believing that it is possible for anyone to make a difference. And she has used the illustration of the hummingbird that was able to use its beak to just pour in a little drop at a time to quell a fire. Mm-hmm. And that means that she expects each one of us to do something to change this world. And obviously she has had made a tremendous difference in this world. And so for me, that is the most fascinating thing and the most inspiring thing. And just coming from the same country, coming from the same region, I feel very honored and I feel very inspired. And I also feel challenged that we need to make a difference. And as a fellow woman from Kenya, I think she has made a mark in the world that allows the rest of us to stand up and stand on her shoulders, to stand even higher.
Why did it take your country, Kenya, Joanne, a very long time before acknowledging and, frankly, respecting her contributions?
I think it is, in a way, what people do often say, a prophet is not recognized in their own home, perhaps because you know her too well, you spend too much time with her, you've seen her flaws, and so you focus perhaps more on the areas that you know that are ordinary, as opposed to the areas that are extraordinary. I think it is extremely great that right now the whole country has united to celebrate her, but I do wish that this had happened a lot more in her lifetime to celebrate. But I also want to recognize the fact that in the last 6 years of her life, she has had recognition globally, and perhaps this could have made her feel better about not being recognized as much at home as she has been elsewhere.
What do you think about tomorrow and the day after being declared 2 national holidays in her honor, and of course flying the half-masts, the flags at half-mast?
I think I would have been shocked if the flag did not fly at half-mast for such a heroine, and I am glad that this is happening. I've just learned from you about the 2 public holidays. I wasn't aware of that. I'm actually surprised because I think that is the greatest honor we have had. I'm not aware of anybody else who has been given that kind of an honor. And so that should show just how much the country has united to celebrate her and to recognize her efforts and her achievements. I think also the fact that the country is, the government has come together to say that they're going to give her a state funeral is also a first of its kind, and really well deserved for Wangari. But I think more importantly, the country, the education system has been encouraging children every day now that every child, in honor of Wangari Maathai, should plant a tree. And for me, I think that's a more touching tribute and a more valuable tribute to such a great woman in embracing her causes. So personally, I will plant a tree, and I'll make sure everybody in my family does the same.
What does it say, Joanne, about the Kenyan women and indeed African women who are obviously demanding for affirmative action, which is probably deserved in order to fully participate in the affairs of the nations? And yet here you have a very unique individual, Wangari Maathai, who never had affirmative action, but actually attained perhaps 150% out of 100.
Wow, I will say that this kind of people come only once perhaps in a lifetime, and she is certainly a first. But it also she has opened up a lot of space for women. And so in as much as women will be asking for affirmative action, it is women like Wangari Maathai that actually make affirmative action a cause that can be fought for, because she creates an icon that we can reflect on and say, if women are given opportunities, they can be the next Wangari Maathai. She did not need affirmative action because God had blessed her tremendously with a strong spirit, with a brilliant mind, and a lot of willpower. Wangari has always been extremely resolute, and in everything that she decided to do, there was no backing down.
Thank you.
And so that kind of spirit was fantastic.
Thank you very much, Joanne Wangi, all the way from the Kenyan capital,